How are we feeling today? Are we feeling good? Sore? Sore? Where's sore specifically? Head to toe. Great, we'll take care of that, okay. Cool. Well, so this series, as we've been kind of going through it, is paired up with our Sunday hero workout. The 4 Fallen is the one that we have this week. And this practice is going to focus a little bit more on hamstrings, calves, feet. You might want a lacrosse ball so that we can roll out the feet and just kind of help us recover from double unders rowing and step-ups with just a lot of volume. So let's go ahead and just find a comfortable seat, whatever that means for you. You can sit on a block, you can sit on your shins, we can go cross-leg. We can also just kind of like, whatever allows you to sit your torso up. Let's get your feet in that position. And then hands anywhere that's comfortable. We're gonna just close the eyes, sit up tall, gently close the mouth so you begin to breathe easily through the nose. You don't have to force it. We're just trying to find and feel our breath with a little bit more focus. Now, keeping the breath flowing through the nose, we're going to elongate the breath a little bit more. So all together, feeling as though the breath starts at the base of the tailbone. Take a big inhale. Feel that inhale travel all the way to the top of the head. And then just go back the way you came. So from the top of the head, we exhale through the nose all the way down to the tailbone. And then again, big inhale. Exhale fully. Big inhale, feel the ribs expand at the top of that inhale. And on the exhale, feel everything just soften back. 2 more cycles on your own, just trying to find a length of breath that feels comfortable, that's not forced, but is just a little longer than you would naturally like it to be. Now, throughout the stretches today, you don't have to force the breath, but I do want it to stay through the nose. So just keeping the lips just gently closed so we can practice that nasal breathing. All right, and then just keep the breath flowing through the nose. Just gently open the eyes, and let's go all the way onto our backs. Okay. We're going to start with an easy hamstring stretch. So as we lay back, the left leg will go to the floor, the right leg will go up, and you just grab for whatever you can on the back of that right leg. We can gently curl the toes just a little bit towards the shins, but it's mostly focused on the hamstring stretch. So if you need to relax your foot to feel that, go for it. And when tension in the stretch starts to reduce, then you can deepen the posture a little bit to keep that intensity up to help lengthen the muscles and help with that flexibility. Okay, so keeping the leg up now, let's get a little bit more calf focused. So you might have to bring that leg a little bit away from you and then curl your right toes really tight towards the shin so that right heel is extending towards the ceiling, and then try to pull that leg back. You'll feel more calf stretch than hamstring stretch, hopefully. Good. Now release that right foot, release the right leg all the way to the floor, and let's go the other side. So extending your left leg up now. Grab for the back of the left thigh or the knee, whatever you can. That left foot is just a little bit soft, so we just feel the hamstrings stretch. Good. Now let's focus more on like calves. So let that leg come away from you a little bit. Curl the left toes all the way towards the shin. Drive that left heel up towards the ceiling, and then reestablish a little bit more of that pull of the leg to the chest. Good. All right. Go ahead and gently release that leg, and let's have both knees come to your chest. Wrap the arms around the shins, give them a little squeeze. And then keeping the knees together, arms out like a T, drop both knees over to the right for an easy twist. It's okay if the left shoulder comes up off the floor. I want you to just feel heavy as you sink into this position. Let gravity do a little bit of work as you're just breathing slowly through the nose. Nice and easy here. Inhale, we'll bring both knees through center. And on your exhale, we gently drop it over to the other side. Same thing, that right shoulder might pop up, that's okay. We just let the body feel heavy towards the floor and slowly unwind any tightness we've got in the back, maybe in the hip. Good. Bringing the knees back through center. Give them a little squeeze into the chest. And then start to rock forward and back a couple times. You're just kind of rocking along the back and the spine. After about 3 or 4, we can just kind of rock up to a seat, and you guys will go into a straddle position. Now, if you find that straddling facing me means that your heels are on the floor and that doesn't feel good, you can face either direction and get the heels kind of on the mat and your bottom off of it so that you've got a little bit more cushion. Okay. And the idea with this straddle forward fold we're coming into is that the knees and the toes are going to keep facing up towards the ceiling. So we're going to inhale to lift the chest up, grow tall, and then keep that long spine as we exhale, walk the hands forward and soften and round into it if that feels good. Continuing to find that smooth breath through the nose. And it's the exhales where you can deepen into the posture, where your body accepts, and you might find a little bit more space. Good. And let's go ahead and just walk the hands back. sitting up tall, keeping the legs as they are. We got one more stretch in this position, and then we'll switch. So we're going to go into a side bend. So inhale, sit up a little bit taller. Your right arm is going to come up. You're going to just kind of turn to the right leg a little bit, and then you're going to reach over for the left foot. Okay? Because I want this right ribs kind of roll back and open the chest a little bit more towards the ceiling, and then reach through your right fingertips to get your fingers towards the left toes. Good. Inhale brings you up. Okay. And then just do a little reset. So go ahead and sit back up tall. You're going to turn towards that left foot a little bit. Lift the left arm up and then reach over towards your right toes. Good. Inhale will bring you up. And then here we grab the backs of the knees. We can just kind of bring the legs a little bit more together. We're going to come into tabletop. So just kind of making your way to your hands and knees. And we'll just do a couple cat-cow, a few versions here just to move things around. So classic version first. So on your inhale, we're going to take the tailbone and reach it up towards the sky and lift the chest. And then on your exhale, you're going to press through the palms as we round. The tailbone goes towards the backs of the knees, chin to chest. Inhale, drops the belly, chest lifts. And exhale, round. Try to separate the shoulder blades a little bit more and round that upper back. And for the next few, you can kind of add anything you want. So maybe we want to go side to side with the hips. Maybe we want to do some kind of body rolls. Just a little bit of movement. Cool. All right, now finding a neutral position. We're going to come into scorpion. So scorpion is a little bit different than cactus in that scorpions we're going to go long arm, and then the legs are going to be doing a little bit more work in this. So here's what it looks like. We're going to go all the way down to the belly. We're going to start with the right side. So the right arm is going to go straight out to the right. And you're going to take your left foot and you're going to bring it up and over, and you're going to reach your left toes toward your right fingertips. Your head comes to the ground so that the neck is relaxed, but you're trying to get those left toes up towards your right fingers. And bringing yourself back towards center, so belly towards the floor. And let's go to the other side. Extend the left arm out, and then bring your right toes up and over, and try to get your right toes to reach your left fingertips. Good. All right. Releasing back to the belly. Now we're going to go cactus. So cactus, you guys stay there real quick. Cactus is now going to start with the arm like this, and then you can adjust it up or out with the hand. We're going to get front of the chest stretch, a little bit different than scorpion. So with our right arm, start with a good angle here, elbow in line with shoulder, hand in line with elbow. And then same thing, we're going to roll into the outer edge of your right hip, but now the focus is more about what's happening in that front of the right shoulder. So adjust your arm if you need to find that stretch in the spot that you want. Good, and exhale will bring you back to the belly. And then switch sides. So the left arm now sets up, and then rolling to the outer edge of that left hip. Head is towards the ground, so the neck is relaxed, and then move the arm to get the stretch you're looking for. Good, all right. Slowly release out of that. And then just push yourself back into child's pose for just 1 or 2 breaths. So toes together, knees apart. We're going to sit back. Arms can go out in front or alongside the legs so that your forehead can come to the floor and everything relaxes. Just a couple breaths here. All right. We're going to transition from down dog into a standing fold. So slowly making your way to the hands and knees. And then just an easy tuck of the toes and a lift of the hips. In this down dog, we can just kind of pedal out the heels a little bit real quick if that feels good. And now make sure your feet are about hips distance, toes forward, and then walk the hands back. And we're going to come into a standing fold. Okay? So give those knees just a soft little bend so then your torso can kind of hang. Your arms can grab elbows so that we're just really soft and relaxed in the upper body. And shake the head yes and no. Maybe sway a little. Good. Now hands come to the hips. Keep the soft bend in the knees. On an inhale, just slowly bring yourself up to stand. Okay. So we're going to go back into the fold, but we're going to change the feet up a little bit. So we're going to go from this position. You're going to cross your right foot in front of the left. Okay, right foot in front of left. Now you might find that in this position your right knee bends a little bit more, and that's okay. It's the left that you're going to feel more stretch on. And then from here, on your exhale, we're just going to gently reach forward like we're coming back into that forward fold. And it's that left side you might find more stretch from. You might also find it on the right, just depends on where you're tightest. And you're getting a little bit of that left outer hip, maybe what feels like the IT band, but stretching the muscles that connect to it. And we inhale, slowly brings you up. And switch. So left foot in front. And again, the left knee probably will bend a little bit more. And then your right leg is kind of be the focus. So next exhale, just gently bring yourself back towards the ground with those fingers or wherever you can. Bend that left knee a little bit more so your right leg gets the focus. Good. And the next inhale, just gently bring yourself up. All right. Lacrosse ball time. Okay, grab your lacrosse ball. Oh, Steve, there's the buckets right there. It's blended into the floor. Okay. So one of the things that we we don't always take care of is the feet. And with a workout like the 4 Fallen with probably close to 300 double unders, and all the step-ups and the jumping. Your feet get really tired, but we don't always notice it until it's too late. So we're going to start, and we're going to do the right foot, and we're going to begin just right in the middle, like where your arch is, in just kind of this area, and then I'll cue you to some other spots. So the amount of pressure you put on the foot to the ball is up to you and what you think you can handle, but we want to be able to breathe normally and not have a moment where we're like, because it's so hard, okay? So feeling for anything that's tight from you can feel a little triangle from the base of the big toe and the pinky toe where the knuckle is, and then right before the heel, all of that space. Try to work out like I've got one right by my pinky toe. Oh, anything you can find. Oh, breathe through it. Oh my God. And now if you feel like the bottom of that foot got a little bit of a release, you can go up towards like the knuckles and just kind of roll across the knuckles of your foot. Create a little bit more space. We want feet that have space between the toes, or at least the ability for you to move them that way. And so this can help unlock a little bit of that space that we need. All right. If you feel like you got a little bit of release from that, then we can go over to the second side. And don't worry, we are going to stretch the feet in a little bit. So we're going to get extra. So go to that second side. May or may not feel like the first side, but start with that meaty part of the arch and the bottom of the foot. Who would have thought coming to yoga and you'd be using a lacrosse ball, huh? Can anybody tell what side are both sides the same, or is one side worse than the other? In one side, the other one side, yeah. Yep. And then once you've kind of done the bottom of the foot, remember you can go towards the knuckles, and like pushing the ball into the knuckles then kind of helps it open up and create a little more space there. And we'll spend another 30 seconds here. If you find that one side is fine, you can always go back to like I have a really big spot on my right side, so I'm just gonna hang out there for a little bit longer while we finish up here. There we go. Okay. I don't know about you, but anybody feel the release in the foot? Did you find a little bit of, yeah? Okay, let's put that ball back off to the side. And now that we've done all that great work on the feet, let's continue that. So we're gonna come down to the floor on the shins, and we'll give the feet a little break. It's all right. I'll get the ball when it's coming. We're gonna give the feet a little break. And we're going to start by stretching the shins, okay? So sitting down on the shins, just like this, real simple. Maybe the tops of your feet are like, this is all I want. And that's great, you stay there. If you're like, well, I got a little bit, I'm not feeling anything in the shins and I can go a little bit farther, so now you'll reach back. Now maybe you'll feel quads more than shins, okay? We do want the shins, so if you don't feel it here, oh, you can, there we go. We can lift the knees up a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Good, release. Just take a moment here, and we'll do that one more time. Okay, and then hands behind, And then maybe we lift. Cool. All right, and release. Now the next stretch coming up, I honestly, and I say this having taught yoga for a very long time, I think this is one of the most intense stretches we do, but we don't do it often for the feet. So watch. We're gonna go toes under, and then we're gonna come up onto the tippy toes in this crouch position so we can make sure all 10 toes are like on the floor. We can feel them, and they've got a little bit of space, spread them out a little bit. Then we keep the feet as they are. We just bring the knees back down to the floor. And then if you've got the space, you can either stay, if that's enough, you can stay with those hands on the ground, or we sit up. Gosh, stay there, don't go anywhere. I'm just adjusting because this is intense. Breathing through the nose, smooth breaths. Exhale is your release. One more big breath. All right, exhale. Hands to the floor and tuck those toes slowly. And then you can kind of give them a little wiggle. All right. Moving on, let's go into the hips now. So let's go downward facing dog for just our, how we're going to get into this. And then we're going to go into Spider-Man. So take your right foot and step it to the outside of the right hand, and then bring the back knee down. Okay. So Spider-Man here, what we're looking for is for this knee, if you can, to let it fall over to the right, coming onto the outer edge of your right foot. You'll feel a lot more tension in the hip. If this is cool and good, great, stay there. If you've got more space, try to drop the right elbow down first to the ground and then the left. All right, let's go ahead and reset that knee. We're going to come into pigeon now. So you're going to shimmy your right foot all the way over to the left, all the way. This knee comes down and the shin comes down towards the ground. Okay. Now, first thing, if you were like me and you were a little tight today and your butt is nowhere near the mat, that's okay. You can stay there, or if you just kind of roll to the outer hip a little bit to drop down, you'll still find a big stretch, but in a way that's maybe a little bit more relaxing. And so here we're just softening the shoulders. You can maybe make fists so you can rest your head on the ground. So something that allows you to just breathe here without too much tension and just allowing the hip to open up slowly. right, slowly coming out of that. You can kind of roll to the outer hip. We can go like hands and knees, a cat-cow or two, or a hip wiggle. And then we're going to go back to downward facing dog. Before we go to the second side, we're going to lift this right leg up, and you can kind of bend the knee, open up the hip, move, make big circles with the knee, just trying to create some movement and put it back into that hip after we've stretched it a little bit. Cool. Now let's go second side, starting with Spider-Man. So that left foot is now going to step to the outside of the left hand. The right knee will come down. And in Spider-Man, this is one where we're going to let that left knee fall over to the left, coming onto the outer edge of the left foot. And then we either stay here or left elbow comes down first, and then the right. All right, coming onto the hands. Let's shimmy now this left foot over to the right and coming into pigeon. Okay. And dropping the shin down. And again, if your hip is high off the floor, just kind of roll to that outer spot so you can at least soften into this. And then just find that position that you can hang out in for a little bit. All right, slowly back onto the hands and knees. We go tabletop for just a little hip wiggle and then back to down dog. So we can lift that left leg up just like we did the other side. And get a little bit of extra movement and stretch. Bend the knee, open the hip as you lift the left leg. Good. And then bringing that left leg down. Let's bring the knees down to the floor, and we're going to swing our feet around and come to a seat. Okay. Reverse tabletop. So just like we felt in cactus, this front portion here is where we're going to look for in our tabletop. So feet flat on the floor, hands are going to go behind you, fingers are going to face the feet. Okay. Let's set this up first. We're going to go squeeze the shoulder blades together. So elbows in, shoulder blades squeeze, and then straighten the arms as much as you can. Maybe you feel a stretch here already and you don't need to go anywhere. Cool. If not, we can scoot the hips forward a little bit to open up through the front of the chest and get a little bit of a bicep stretch. We can also go high hip to intensify that stretch even more. We're going to hold, so we're going to do this twice, but we're going to hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and release. Just a little shake out of the hands. We're going to do that one more time. This one's a pretty active position, so we want to keep it at least as active as possible. So hands go back behind you. Again, let's enter it in the same way. So squeeze the shoulder blades, straighten the arms, either move the hips forward, or let's come back to that high hip position. And then if you can tolerate more, shift the hips forward towards the heels and you'll feel more space in the front. Good. And then gently bringing the hips down. Okay. This time now we're going to go legs out in front. We're going to come into a seated forward fold. If you feel as though in this seated forward fold that your sit bones are like kind of pressing hard into the ground, then you can always flip the mat to create a little bit more cushion, to make that a little bit more comfortable. It just really depends on where you are today. Okay, so I want those toes to reach up towards the ceiling. Inhale, sit up tall. And on your exhale, we're just going to reach forward. I want you to keep some of that length in the spine so that it tugs a little bit more on the hamstrings than on the lower back. So we're keeping that chest reaching forward. Grab for whatever you can, calves, ankles, toes, knees, whatever it is. Inhale, brings the torso up. And then we're just going to lay all the way back onto our backs. And we've got 2 more stretches before we close this out. So as you lay back, bring the knees into the chest, give them a squeeze. And then we've got happy baby. So we're going to grab the outer edges of the feet with the hands, and then the knees go on the outer edges of the elbows. So that way you can kind of begin to either pull down on the feet so that we create that really deep happy baby position, or we then start to move around a little bit. So we can straighten the leg one at a time or at the same time. You can rock side to side. You can bring your feet over your head. Just a couple breaths to play around in this happy baby, finding some movement. Good. And then release the feet, bring the knees together and wrap the forearms around the shins for a little squeeze. We're going to come into a final twist here, a little bit deeper than we did in the beginning. So keep your right knee into your chest. Left leg will extend onto the floor. Scoot your hips over to the right just a couple inches so that then as you let your right knee fall to the opposite side, you feel that you're a little bit more on the outer left hip. Reaching that right arm out. We're letting gravity do the work here. So again, get heavy. The exhale is your release. So every exhale finds softness. All right, bringing that right knee through center. Let's reshift the hips. And then we can go to the second side. So the left knee is in now. The hips will continue scooting to the left so that as that left knee falls to the opposite side, we're on that outer right hip. Left arm out, soften through the shoulders. Good. Inhale, gently brings you back. We're going to do one final squeeze of the knees into the chest for a little tight ball here. You can also bring your forehead to the knees and just squeeze. And then take a deep inhale. Open the mouth, sigh it out. Legs go long on the mat. Arms alongside the waist or wherever is comfortable. Maybe you want your hands on your belly. Wherever is comfortable. And then just close the eyes. Breathing is now natural. If you can keep it through the nose, great, but it's soft, it's relaxed, it's not forced. Spend a few moments in our final resting pose. Slowly start to wiggle fingers and toes. And then reaching overhead like you're waking up in the morning. Big stretch. You can roll over to your right side for a quick moment there. But then when you're ready, we're going to meet in just a comfortable seat. So no rush, just kind of get there whenever you'd like. Keep the eyes closed. Hands anywhere that's comfortable for these last few moments. And all together, we'll take one more big inhale. We'll sigh it out. Inhale through the nose. Open the mouth side out. And gently opening the eyes. Thank you so much for joining today. Soreness like, when you do 300 double unders can, make your calves and your legs a little sore, but movement and stretching, get blood flow, help it get warm, will help you recover faster. Might not take away the soreness forever, but it will definitely help you recover. So thank you for taking the time for yourself today, and I will see you guys next week. Okay, thank you.